Welcome to the top 16 of the Meta Weekly every single week. Bro, are you ready? We're going to start this off with a first turn kill deck. We just saw this in the early rounds. The Mad Lad would summon the Greater Inari Fire from the deck and then essentially first turn kill, but it would be happening during the opponent's draw phase. So not exactly on the first turn, but essentially still first turn kill. Now, by watching as long as you can, that greatly supports these videos. I appreciate you immensely for that. With that said, Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
We have the Deception Sinful Spoils here. If you are struggling against Azamina, this is when you would chain Retaliating Sea to the Hollowed Azamina. Their Sinful Spoil would get banished. They don't summon anything from the extra deck, and then for the rest of the turn, any card sent to the grave is now banished. It also turns off the opponent from being able to activate an early Max C, because Max C must be sent to the graveyard in order to activate. We're going to summon a Sylvia here since we're under the effect of Max C and Full Loss. So they do get that massive draw too. And then the big reveal is here. It is a Tenpai deck. Now, good for us is that the Blaster Dragon being in the hand means the Gold Sark becomes useless. You need to banish the Blaster from the deck to then search your deck for a Tenpai. But they do have a Heavy Storm. We do have Sylvia to try to negate something. And they do have a full combo with the Genroku. So if we get focus all our efforts on stopping the Genroku, we will not lose. But our way to stop Genroku will be either through the Impermanence or the Sylvia. Is that enough? Let's go. Max C in the draw phase. And I've been saying this, a lot of people don't like me saying this. If you're sick of getting Max Seed and Full Loss, then play a deck like Tenpai, because they don't really care about getting Max Seed, as they do all their special summoning mostly in the battle phase, and you're going to lose anyway, even if you draw 20 cards. Forbidden Droplet preemptively, getting the Blast from the grave to right away negate the Sylvia, as we then follow up with the Heavy Storm, wiping away all back row cards, and just like that, we are now in the battle phase, summoned from the deck. This will not be able to negate, but it does open up our field if we were to, let's say, draw into an Impermanence. We draw into Valor, it's no good because we're in the battle phase. No Imperm! We had to draw the Impermanence. No Imperm again, but this is in the damage step anyway. We would not be able to Imperm. We'd have to Imperm before the damage step of the attack of the Chandra. And just like that, as I said, we do not care about Max C. Max C, not a problem, unless they were to have drawn into an Imperm, of course. And let's now, the final time you could activate is now gone. As you're now going to Transcend a Dragon, you can draw whatever you want, but nothing can activate. Lethal damage. Get Tenpai in. Tenpai is also taking advantage of people playing more Bystials. People are playing more Nibiru. Nibiru's no good against Tenpai. Bystial no good against Tenpai. Maxi Full Loss really not so good against Tenpai. There's so much cards that are being played that Tenpai just plays right through it. It's such a good time to play Tenpai. Come forth, Sylvia. This looks like a repeat of the previous duel. We're gonna Poplar searching for an original Sinful. Bro. Pot of Greed? Bro. Kang, no. I'm sorry, Kang. That's just the way it be. That's how it be. Yup, there you go. Tenpai with the 2-0 defeating a first turn kill deck. Let's hop into another match. Bonfire, sir. What the heck is this? This is a Centurion deck. All under Max C, we're going to have to make our plays under. We have Ash Blossom to negate an interaction with the deck. We have the Baldrake, which I'm not going to count its banishment as a form of disruption, but I will count it being able to banish a monster on the field as a form of disruption. If they summon from the extra deck, we can tribute off the Magna Hut to banish away. And then we have the back row, which could turn into a summon from the extra deck. That will be a form of disruption. We have the Phalanx, which could banish a monster on the field. That's going to be about 4 forms of disrupt we have to play through. Can we play through 4? Whoa! Max C. Speaking of Full Loss again, I have to negate your Full Loss by playing Full Loss with my Crossout Designator. So you know, definitely you are playing the Full Loss. We're going to Fiendsmith Tract, searching for our Lurie. Likely going to be saving the Ash for the Fiendsmith Requiem play. As we Lurie go into the Requiem, we're not going to try to bait the Ash with the Requiem. We're going to be using Sylvia to search for the Tails of the White Forest, which could then get negated by the Ash Blossom, unless we're saving Ash for the Sinful Deception. We're going to negate the ability to search for the Elzet Azamina, which would have searched for the Deception, which otherwise would have been a good use of your Ash Blossom to negate that. And now we're going to go into our Requiem into sequence play. But there is a Serenir. Serenir can help deal with the Fiendsmith play as the sequence is going to fuse to the graveyard. Now, normally we do not see a Bestial chaining to a sequence. You wait for the Lacrima targeting the Engraver Engrave to then banish it away. By doing this preemptively, we're forcing them into, they're still going to go into Lacrima, but they now can't target the Engraver Engrave. The Lacrima is going to be returning back the Requiem into the extra deck. I was going to further turn this into a Little Knight. Little Knight on summon, banish away the Serenir. Lacrima burn for 1200 here. And it looks like we're going to be ending our turn on a Little Knight plus Ash Blossom double disruption. Emblema Oath is going to be setting up our stand-up Centurion field spell, but you can't Ash Blossom. What you can Ash is a card like Primera. You can try to Ash a card like Auxilla, but Auxilla will likely be Chainlink blocked anyway. To battle we go, making sure to not allow the Little Knight to activate. We do lose that. We do have Ash to negate that Bonfire. Easy negate. We know there's no other card on the field or in hand. Simplified game state, thus just negate it. You can follow up with the Sylvie. Sylvie is full combo. It's going to search for the Tails. We already used up our Tails though. Without the Tails, what is Sylvie searching for? Searching for Woes? Into the Woes, we're going to have to set an end. Bro, what? We're ending our turn after set. We're going to set this, then end our turn. Set, end, your turn. Silvera, flip your field face down. That's it. That's what we were afraid of. Silvera. We're literally going to end our turn. Bonfire into our Trudea. Trudea is going to be activating into an Imperm negate. We're going to have to end with just a Phalanx, Imperm, and Valor. Just 3 disruptions. That's not so bad. You can banish a monster until next turn, plus double monster negate, triple disruption. We have the Sylvie on summon going to be negated from adding a Tales of the White Forest from our deck, which would then have added the Elzet Azamina. And I emphasize that because we already have the Elzet Azamina in hand. So you stopped the play that we had anyway as the Phalanx banishes away the Elzet Azamina. And the Elzet Azamina, guess what it was searching for? For Sinful Deception. So each step, we stop you from getting the Elzet Azamina, already have it. We stop Elzet Azamina from grabbing the Sinful Deception, we already have it. We're going to be tributing off our Maxi, grabbing the Hallowed Azamina, and this is where we are going to pop off with our Rasalago. Rasalago is here on summon, search in our deck for a Sinful Spoil or Azamina. This could be a risky negate. By negating the Rasalago, you are banking on that they do not have another Sinful Spoil card in their hand, because otherwise, this negated by a Valor, we could just link off into a Closed Moon, return it back for our Hallowed Azamina, summon the Sylvia alongside it, pop off from there. Let's see what happens though. We could even make a Baron to Floor here if we want. Level 10 Synchro, just like that. Looks like we are doing that. Yup. Why go into our Fiendsmith plays when we don't have a way to get another body on the field? We do not. Yup. Get poppin' as the Hallowed Azamina returns the Rasalago back. We did not have another Sinful Spoils to summon our Sylvia, unfortunately. Now, the Black Goat has a different effect if used on the field or in the grave. On the field, you are going to disallow them from special summoning monsters with the original name, except being summonable from the graveyard. Okay, so what do we call? Well, obviously Call of Nothing because they have no plays. Normal summon a Fool Loss. What did we, oh wow, we called Typhon. That was smart. Yup, that's the way. Typhon cannot be special summoned. Beautifully done. And we have no monster attribute off, but we're going to send it with the Hallowed Azamina. Let's speed this up. And just like that, we have lethal damage on the field. Rasalago getting negated. We don't even have to destroy the Full Loss through our card effect. 2-1 victory. Nicely done. Huh? We pass. This is a hand trap meta, boy. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hand traps pass. What the? Holy moly. We're going to send Diablo Star for Diablo Star. Diablo Star is going to be searching and setting up the Sinful Deception, which you have to think about this. Is Imperm good against the Azamina cards? No, they're quite horrible against them. You don't want to be Imperming Rasalago. They could have another sinful card that is. You don't want to be Imperming the Sylvia, and then let's say Sylvia doesn't even tribute off. It stays in the field for another turn. It just sucks. So you unfortunately, even though Imperm on Diablo Star in the previous meta was not so good, you have to adapt, and it now is a good time to negate Diablo Star, which also plays around the Call by the Grave. Can't finger the impermanence. Gotcha. Poplar on summon. We're going to further negate the Poplar mate. We're going to Call by the Grave, negate the Veiler. Now the Poplar will be adding from the deck here. Let's speed this up. We Drone Lockbird this ad. Adding an original Sinful. We're not going to Drone Lockbird them. We're going to hold. As we now link Rebo, equip the Poplar to get ready to use the original Sinful to send that Poplar to summon from the deck. As we hit them with the Max C, that's why we did not want to droll. Max C. And this is what I've been talking about. You protect your Max C by letting them finger something else. You want them to finger your Ash, your Veiler, it does not matter. You hold your Max C for the most efficient way to Max C if you have other hand traps. So the Imperm was a check on Crossout Designate, and the Veiler was a check onto a Call by the Grave. We are now going to self-droll ourselves. And I talked about this earlier. As we Ash negate the ability of Oak summoning from the deck of Flameverge, very well done. The situation with Droll is that because Fualos and Maxi are so prevalent, everyone's, they got 5 copies of Maxi. If Droll is not good, then Droll is good. Because if you can make plays under Droll, then you want to Droll yourself to stop their Maxi or their Fualos. Now, not every deck's going to have the luxury of having room to play Droll and Lockbird in addition to the mandatory, I would say mandatory, 3 Fualos, 2 Maxi, 3 Ash, 3 Impermanence, 2 Call by the Grave, even Crossout Designate, to even have room on top of all that to also play Droll and Lockbird. That's crazy. Well, this is why it's the best deck. We're going to Sinful Deception, tribute off to search our deck for the Hallowed Azamina. Hallowed Azamina is going to summon the Rasalago. With our Rasalago, we are going into our deck, unless we get negated by the Veiler, which we will not, grabbing an Original Sinful. Original Sinful, send our Go to the grave to summon from the deck our Snake Eye Ash. Ash, add a Ponix. Ponix on normal summon. We have not used up our summon yet. We're going to use the Little Knight to banish away the Snake Eye Ash, not using Veiler to negate the Ponix. Because we fingered the Veiler. Veiler is negated. We cannot negate with Veil. Do remember that, which means we then lose. That's it. All right. Send the Sanctuary, summon Diablo Star, search for a Wanted Seeker, send the Wanted Seeker with the Hallowed Azamina, come forth and summon our Sylvia. Activate the Fire King Island, grab Garunix, pop Ponix, trigger Garunix, summon, to then pop from the deck a Fire King Arvata, reborn from Engrave. We had enough for lethal damage, but we're going to keep on going. We don't know what's in their hand. We're going to be reborning their Oak, using their Oak, reborn our banished level 1 Fire, and just like that, wham bam, thank you ma'am, let's hop into game number 2. Are you ready? Game number 2. We do have that retaliating C. We are going first, though. Okay, I pass. Oh, and now he hit me with the Max C. Whoa, you shut down my turn, bro. I hate Max C. How dare you? Okay. Oh, wow, we drew into another hand trap. Sinful Deception. We are popping off right into this play. Now, would it have been better if we wanted Seeker into Original Sinful? Yeah. This would have been the better play if we can see their hand and know that they have a retaliating C. We don't see their hand. We didn't know that there's a retaliating C. And understand, If you have Crossout Designator, there's a good chance they're not playing Retaliating Sea to negate a Retaliating Sea. If they have Call by the Grave, they can't finger the Retaliating Sea. If they have Ash Blossom, where it can negate a card like Fool Loss or Maxi, it cannot negate the Retaliating Sea. So you're going to see the benefit of Retaliating Sea right here, right now, as it summons. And then the Hallowed Azamina summons nothing, and it's banished. It's gone. You're gone. You're gone. Hallowed Azamina can't activate in Graveyard. We do get to imperm the Retaliating Sea, so it eats up an imperm and completely deletes the Hallowed Azamina. This is massive. Now, had we not had the impermanence there, the Diablo Star would have not even been summonable. You cannot send a card to the graveyard to summon Diablo Star with the Retaliating Sea on field. We're going to Ash, add the Poplar trigger. We're going to Droll and Lockbird. Even if you Droll them here, they still have a great play. They could play right through that Droll and Lockbird quite efficiently. Does that mean Droll's not good? Well, I keep on saying that if Droll's not good, then Droll is good to Droll yourself with to stop their Maxi, their Fool Loss against you. Come forth and summon for the deck. And then there are some decks that Droll does completely shut down, like a White Forest deck, I'd say. As you now make a Hida, Hida could steal from your graveyard nothing because you don't have an Ash Blossom in grave, triggering the Flameburst, Reborn. Remember, we are under the effect of Droll and Lockbird here. We have Diablo Star equipping into the back row our original Sinful. We're going to further link this up into a Promethean Princess. Promethean is going to get hit with an Effect Veiler. We do not want you to be reborning the Flameburst. Flameburst would have then further been able to equip a card like a Masquerena from Engrave if we were to then make one afterward. This is turn number 2, so we do have that battle phase. Fool Lawson, so that within main phase 2, we're going to be additionally drawing. Wait, aren't we under Droll? Oops, that Fool Loss then gets Droll lost. Yep, there you go. As you can see in the top right here. Oh, well. Let's trigger the Wolf, add back a Fire Monster in grave. Oak on summon can reborn a Fire Monster that's in grave or that is banished. We're going to add back our Ash Blossom to be usable again during the next turn. We got our Masquerena play here. And just like that, what do we have set up here? Ooh, Bonfire is good if they weren't to have an Ash, but we do have a Crossout Designate to negate their Ash. Now, this is a confusing situation here. If we Promethean Princess popping the Wolf, you now can't Masquerena unless you're chaining Masquerena to the Promethean Princess, which I would argue is the only way, the only play we have here, because if we instead Masquerena before the Promethean, we then can't Promethean because we'll have no Fire Monster on the field unless Masquerena goes into a fire, which then we're not going to a Little Knight. So let's imagine we have the perfect play of they special, we chain a Promethean to pop, and then we chain Masquerena to go into a Little Knight to banish and have an efficient banish plus an additional efficient banish plus our Ash Blossom. This is 4 disruptions. Bonfire, Ash, Crossout Designate, negate the Ash. And this is where things get spicy. I say we have 3 disruption. I think we just have 2. I don't think we're going to have an efficient Little Knight banish here. Wait, we actually possibly will. What? Oh, we turned. Oh, we're going into Apollo. Interesting. Interesting. Apollo, negate. So we're now down to 1 disruption. So instead of going into a Little Knight shenanigans with the Promethean, where the Ash would have, I guess, summoned a Poplar triggering Promethean. We then use Masquerena into Little Knight, banish away the Snake Eye Ash as we also pop the Poplar, but then the Poplar is still getting a search here. We would have a Little Knight afterward activatable, but all that does not matter because we instead went for the Apollo, and that worked out quite well as it went even with the powerhouse card of Snake Eye Ash. Let's speed this up. Trigger the Garunix, pop from the deck, and Volcanic summon another Garunix going into the Zombie Vampire. We're going to mill 4 cards on both players' decks here. Summoning a body among those 8 cards, 5,400 damage. That is enough for game. 2-0 victory. Nicely done. We have our Wanted Seeker grabbing Diablo Star from the deck here. We have double special summon negate, double monster negate. We have Masquerena, double banish, back row card, and then banish a monster. We then have Sylvia, negate anything. That's 7 disruption. We have Promethean Princess, which will pop on special summon. Not going to be too relevant against a Labyrinth deck, as long as we have a set card when we summon our Lady Labyrinth to make it untargetable, indestructible. But can we even summon it with an Apollo on field? 8 disruption plus a Call by the Grave, which I will think is going to be pretty good in this matchup, possibly. I think we just surrender. I don't know, man. Let's see. We ain't surrendering. Nope, we're gonna randomly get a back row card banished. Let's see. Masquerena, link it up into Little Knight banish. If Daruma were to actually go off, that'd be a huge deal. It could send all the link monster to the graveyard, flipping everything else face down. But if it's already been on the field for a turn, it could just flip right back up. So maybe it actually isn't that big of a deal. It's like, I don't know. What was Trap Trick gonna even grab? We had Sylvia. I guess we could Daruma to eat the Sylvia to force the Trap Trick banish trap to go through. We at least now get to go first. Ooh, simultaneous equation cannons. Ain't no way. Did not look at the extra deck earlier to see that the entire extra deck is built for the ability to, very simply, all you need to know is you are banishing all cards the opponent controls, their entire field. Will it actually go through? Surely it will. Set 4 pass, forsaking our Fua loss. We do not care about you. Maybe would have wanted to summon it to return it back with a big welcome Labyrinth. We're going to start off our turn with a Diablo Star, discard our Fua loss to set up our Deception Sinful Spoil. We're thinking they have back row, we want to summon a Sylvia. Sylvia can help negate one of those back row cards, yes? Let's Holiday Amina first go into our Risala Go, as we will now be going into our deck. Rivalry of Warlords will make it so each player can only control one type of monster while we have Illusion on the field so far. Return back to Risala Go, as we now go without committing to our normal summon, getting Original Sinful Engrave, which could search for our Snake Eye Ash alongside our Sylvia negate. Now, we have to understand a ruling here. This states when your opponent activates a card or effect, contribute this card, negate that effect. So if they flip up Rivalry, that is a great negate that you should not do because it doesn't actually negate the activation. It would remain face up, and then the chat will laugh at you. Please do not do that. Grab a Snake Eye Ash. Do we now flip up Rivalry? Ash on summon. Okay. Maybe if we're negating it for funsies, it's because we're choosing to keep Ash on the field and we didn't actually think we're negating it. I think that's what's going to happen here. Yeah, this is not, he's not trying to negate. He's just choosing to keep Snake Eye Ash in the field. It's not funny. Don't laugh. All right, keep it on the field. There you go. It's still in full effect. We're locked into Pyro. Right? Kilvin, let us know. You weren't trying to negate. We're going to grab a Divine Temple. Boost up our Snake Eyes. Ash, send the Poplar. Summon from the deck our Flameburge. Now, the Snake Eye Diablo Star is a spellcaster with a dragon on the field. We're locked in a dragon only. Trap Trick in the end phase. Uh-oh. We're going to banish any trap from the deck, and then from here on out, we can only activate one trap. That's it. Every other trap will be turned off as we activate the Welcome Labyrinth. As you can see here, when I highlight the other cards, they have the cross-out sign, so it is not usable. Ash, negate the Welcome Labyrinth. All right, off the top of the deck, we got our big Welcome plus set. This is what I was saying to do possibly earlier. So we have a card to return back to our hand on the activation of the big Welcome Resolution. Let's return back the Holiday Amina to our hand. We're still locked in a dragon-type monsters only. We're gonna grab our Oak, which we can't even summon. Big Welcome Labyrinth into the Max C. We're gonna return back the Fool Loss to summon from the deck. What is our summon going to be? It's going to be a Lady Labyrinth, which I will think they're possibly going to want to crash into our Lady, as we're going to be chaining to our Daruma Cannon as the entire field gets flipped face down to set whatever trap we want from the deck, which of course is not activatable the turn we have set it. This turn, any monster sent to the grave would be banished instead if this were activatable. we're going to Engraver, grab the tract. We're no longer locked under the rivalry. We can summon whatever we want. It looks like we're gonna be going for Fiend. Fiend type monsters only will be allowed on the field for Kilvun. So Fiend into Fiend. Requiem will also be summoning a Fiend. So there's a ruling with this where you don't have to summon a Fiend, but you have to have the ability to summon a Fiend, and only then could you then summon something that's not a Fiend instead. Does that make sense? And then you also don't even have to clarify that to your opponent. It's just, trust me, bro. We're going to use Engraver to send Requiem plus the Lady Labyrinth. That ruling is relevant when it comes to something like a Gladiator Beast deck, that is. As we now go into Fiendsmith sequence. Sequence, again, we're fiending it up. All Fiend into the Desiree. Desiree can negate the already face-up rivalry of Warlords. As the sequence is attempting to equip, we do not have a negate right now. And now, are you ready? Banish one fusion monster and 2 Xyz monsters with the same rank from your extra deck whose combined level and ranks equal the total number of cards in both players' hands and on the field. Then you can apply the effect of returning 2 of your banished monsters to the extra deck, 1 Xyz, 1 fusion, whose combined level and rank equal the level or rank of 1 face-up monster your opponent currently controls. Then you banish everything they control. Are you ready for a full field banish? Now, I think you should probably chain Maxi to this to change the equation. The equation is the entire field in both hands, and if you discard Maxi, the equation is maybe now off. Maybe we would not have the play. So what is the equation? 6, 6, and a 3. So that's 12, 15, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it would instead be 14. We would have to send something different. And then we need the 6. This is a 9. What is this? A 6 and a 3. Yeah, the 6 and a 3 equal 9. If you instead change it to 14, how would we do this play? What would the equation now be? Could we make it work? I guess for 14, we'd have a 5, 5, and a 4. Actually would work, right? So rank 5, and a level 4 fusion. The 5 plus the 4 would still be a Desiree. Even if we discard the Max C, we still would get fully banished. Yeah, 5, 5, 4. Manish! The entire field. So in this instance, Maxi was not going to help, even though it would change the equation. We're now going to welcome Labyrinth. Now we're going to Maxi. Come forth and summon from the deck here. We have our lovely Labyrinth, which will continually recycle whatever trap we want from the grave. Veiler, negate the recyclement of your big welcome Labyrinth. I don't think so. Now with big welcome being engraved, it's activatable to spin any card the opponent controls back to the hand, which could trigger the lovely to then pop an additional card on the field or in hand. We have Ogre in our hand. Oak on summon. We're locked into Pyro monsters only as we reborn the Poplar. We're now going to different dimension ground. As what could we have even gone into? We're going to be triggering the lovely Labyrinth and our welcome Labyrinth because a monster left the field through a trap effect. It's going to reset itself as the lovely wipes out the Poplar. Poplar is banished, by the way, under the effect of the different dimension ground, but thankfully the different dimension ground is a floodgate for only 1 turn. Well, what's not good is the lovely will continually recycle that for 1 turn floodgate every single turn. So we're gonna cope with the Ogre, wiping out the lovely chain, welcome Labyrinth to come forth and summon from the deck. With that, we are summoning our Lady Labyrinth. The big welcome can reborn the lovely from engrave right back on the field. And then again, every turn under the lock of different dimension ground, also having to try to play through a rivalry of Warlords. We're going to be chaining our Lady directly to a trap card activation to come forth and set from the deck an Imperm, which will be activatable on the next turn. This did turn on our Triple Tactics talent, as in response to you trying to take control of our monster, we're going to big welcome Labyrinth, summon our Chandelier, and it's now yours. Congratulations, take it. What? And then it sends it to the graveyard, which then gets banished because of the rivalry of Warlords. We're going to be triggering the Stovey, and yep, that's it. Let's hop into game 3. Do not let Labyrinth go first. Very simple. Gone forth, Diablo Star, equip into the back row. All right, what is this? We have back row banishment with Masquerena, Sylvia, negate anything, double special summon, negate. We have Ash Blossom, negate an interaction with the deck. And we also have Promethean Princess giving us a 6th form of disruption. 6. Let's see what's good. Labyrinth with the Torby, discarding Fualos to set up a big welcome, which will not be activatable. Uh-oh, we know exactly where that big welcome is. We could choose to just simply not banish it because we already have outs to it. We already have Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's pinning down the big welcome, so it's not a big deal, which is why we on purpose banished a different card, because we didn't care. We still have Sylvia, negate anything, Ash, negate big welcome, Caesar, negate the welcome Labyrinth. What? We are big time screwed. Let's just get out of here. We out. You need floodgates. You need more floodgates. You gotta floodgate the hell out of them. Holy moly. Floodgates is the only way. Starting off with that Fenrir searching for our unicorn. We're gonna normal summon the Rhino Heart, send from the deck of Hovness. Do you Veiler a Rhino Heart? No, you don't. You Veiler or Imperm the Kit Kalos, which will be summoned right now. That is the best choke point to do. Now, because we have Fiendsmith, you could Engraver equip Requiem and then send Requiem to send Kit Kalos to mill 5. That is a good way to get the Kit Kalos in graveyard through card effect after it gets negated from adding or sending plus getting itself in the grave to mill 5. Boy, that was a play. We just have Fenrir and Nibiru. Okay, worked out well. We got Dora the Explorer grabbing a Genroku from the deck, triggering the Genroku to summon itself onto the field here, which would then have triggered the Fenrir if we wanted to. We're not going to trigger it as we summon a Chundra. Are we saving Fenrir for next duel? We can't Fenrir in the damage step here, so no. Pydra, maybe we're saving it for instead to be used on the Bident Dragon, yes? Banish Bident Dragon. It's swinging, Chundra, activate. Now we activate Fenrir. But then the Pydra will dodge the banishment. Pydra, activate, or Forbidden Droplet, mate. That's it. Gotcha. You know, Tenpai, I said this earlier, Tenpai is a really good deck you all should be considering to be playing if you're struggling on the ladder. It's a really good choice. I think pure Tenpai is the better way to play Tenpai than the Sky Striker version. Sky Striker version is still great and a lot of fun. There are two different choices. Just one I'd say is a little bit better. Ash, negate that Prelia. If you don't own Pirellias and you have the Sky Striker cards, don't craft Pirellia. Just play the Sky Striker cards. It's good enough. We got Unicorn searching for the Birth, Tract searching for our Lurie. Discard that Lurie, trigger it to reborn itself onto the field. Get Fualasin plus Max C. Fualas will not be drawing for this special summon, but we're also going to hit him with the Droll. No more drawing for you. Can we inflict lethal damage? I have started playing double Transcendent Dragon because Kashtira is everywhere. Everyone is playing this. And if you only have one Transcendent Dragon, what the hell? You're just not ready for the Unicorn. Come forth, Requiem. Requiem, jump off, summon from the deck, Engraver. Let's speed this up. Remember, we're under the effect of Droll, so no adding from our deck. Sequence could be fusing the graveyard into Lacrima. We have 4,800 damage, not enough. Imperm, negate the Lacrima. We still have Birth. We have Chimera 50. It's too much. Birth plus Chimera, oh my goodness, 1 and 1. This is now the time for Tenpai to choose for Tearkash to go first. Chimera send the Hovness into Fualas. We do have Ash Blossom, but by Ash and the Fualas, they then have Maxi. Holy crap, 5-card hand trap. Ain't no way. This is a wonderful format we're in. Hand trap it up. Now, they don't have a Tenpai, but Tenpai is filled to the brim with 1-card combos. What are the chances of top decking a 1-card combo here? You'd have to want to be thinking about this as you're playing into the Max C. Every draw you give them is a greater chance to draw into that 1-card combo. Now, obviously, we need some form of disruption in case they already have a 1-card combo. That's it. That's enough. That's the 1-card combo. If we don't have a way to stop it, we're done. The Magna Hut is full, lethal, 30,000 damage. Yup, that's it. Got him. Okay. The correct thing to do was to surrender there. Yep, that was correct. There was literally no better play. Senjin, equip itself in the back row, special summon. We're seeing a lot of Millennium engine techs within random decks here. We don't have enough cards that flip cards face down. It would be nice to see more of it because it does have the special benefit of, let's say we preemptively droplet to negate the Baron de Fleur, to turn it off, right? Now, even if it leaves the field, it's still going to be negated. But if the Baron de Fleur activates to negate a card, you could then Morion, flip your own card face down. Any special summon monster on the field, flipping down the Baron de Fleur in response to it negating something is different than it leaving the field. It wipes away the negates on the Baron de Fleur, then the Baron de Fleur does negate. So do look out for that combo. Let's talk about our forms of disruption here. Ooh, the Ancient Gear Fortress is going to be massive. During the turn an Ancient Gear monster is summoned, they cannot be targeted by card effects, they cannot be destroyed by card effects, and your opponent cannot chain cards or effects in response to the activation of Ancient Gear cards and effects. So no negate, no target mate. Now, a card like Woe's going to Silvera. Silvera could flip the entire opposing field face down. That is a good way to play through the Ancient Gear Fortress. But beyond that, we have the Silvera full field flip. We have 4 monster negate on the Apollo USA, untargetable. Untargetable Baron de Fleur, Omni negate. Sylvia, Omni negate. We have Morion, flip a special summon face down. That is 8 disruptions. But if anyone could do this, it will be Earl GB. Are you ready to flame on? Starting off with an Ancient Gear Fortress, we have to negate that. Ain't no way we're letting that go through. Forbidden Droplet is the way to negate that Baron de Fleur. We're going to use the Morion, as I said, to dodge the negate. It's a little bit different than as I said. The negate wasn't already afflicting the Baron de Fleur. We're just going to dodge the Forbidden Droplet instead. Negate the Apollo USA. Say goodbye to the Ancient Gear Fortress as we follow up with our Ancient Gear Wyvern. Sylvia will negate. Now, we still have a play through the Ancient Gear statue, which will not be negatable through the Apollo USA. We are going to use the Woes, though. Woes into the Sylvie, into the Silvera, flip the entire opposing field face down. Is this the end for Earl GB? Yes, it is. It was a good, valiant effort, okay? We'll try again, okay? Just have them go first again. You know, damn, the Droplet got stopped by the Morion. Morion won that entire duel. Droplet should have went through. The Fortress should have stayed face up. Not cool. Did he pick to go second? Of course he did. Yup. So after losing game 1, we choose to go second, as we should. Engraver off the top of the deck. Now, we still don't want to touch the extra deck here. Can we break this field? What are our forms of disruption? Also having to play through a Max C, which we should not care about whatsoever. Our only form of disruption is a non-target flip the entire field face down. Can we handle it? Let's see. Also under the effect of Max C. Do we flame on again? I think so. Earl, GB, can you do it? Flame on as we summon a Dark Golem from the deck. Dark Golem is going to be activated to search our deck for the Ancient Gear Fusion plus a Catapult. When does Pesh decide to get flippin'? We're going to set up with the Ancient Gear Advance, searching for the Ancient Gear Fortress. You are now not able to target our summoned Ancient Gears, nor can you chain to us activating any of our effects. As we summon the ultimate Chaos Ancient Gear Giant, unaffected by spell and trap effects, your opponent cannot activate monster effects during the battle phase. It inflicts piercing battle damage at 4,500 attack, and it can attack every single monster the opponent controls. Let's go. It's time to woes. Summon from the deck Elzat Azamina to go into the Severa to non-target flip down the Ancient Gear Giant. It is untargetable. It only negates in the battle phase. We are at the end of main phase 1. It unfortunately is now about to be flipped face down. Oof. Let's tribute it off. Let's draw a card. Let's use the Catapult. Catapult is going to be destroying the Gear Town. Gear Town is going to be activating to come forth and summon onto the field the Gear Tanker. Gear Tanker reborning back in the field. The Chaos Ancient Gear Giant no longer flipped face down. Attack 1, attack 2, lethal damage. Nice. We couldn't wait for the battle phase. The Ancient Gear Giant would have negated the Silvera from flipping face down. It's 1-1. In case Earl has some turn 1 play. Ooh, we're going to use the Ash to... This is a very risky Ash where we possibly would instead need it for the opponent's turn to stop them from lethaling us. Instead, we want to be making plays on our own turn, and then the Ash gets countered by a max freaking C. This is the reality of Master Duel right now. There is more. They got 5 freaking max Cs. Yup, Ash is no longer enough. Oh boy. Got him. And now we're heavily relying on just a retaliating C. Are we still going to be summoning under max C? Oh boy, this is going to be crazy. How much summoning are we doing here? Wyvern from the deck here, draw 1 as we trigger the Gear Town to give them another draw into their second draw here. Summon from the deck. Can we Baguska pass at least into an Impermanence? Oh no, Imperm's gonna completely counter this play. Oh boy. Now, how does the retaliating C work exactly? I'm gonna be showcasing on the website a good way to check. Let's type in onto the site in case you wanted to use this yourself. Let's type in spell, and then we'll type in the word summon. So what exactly is retaliating C able to respond to? It could respond to the Hollow Azamina. It could respond to the original Sinful. It could respond to the 1-for-1. It cannot respond to Tract, nor Birth, no Divine Temple, but it says the word summon. Well, they summon through their effect activation, not their card activation, thus it doesn't work. Obviously can't chain a Super Poly, doesn't work to Regained. It works to Kaiman, it works to Hornet Drones. It does not work to Spirit Gates, not work to Throne. It does work for Sinful Spoil, it does work for Millennium Ankh. So that's a good showcase of the most popular relevant cards in which you could chain Retaliating C to. But the main reason you play it is for the Hollowed Azamina, otherwise it's not that good. So with that knowledge, is Retaliating C going to help us? Imperm, negate. We got the Senjin Temple. Now, the Senjin Temple is a continuous spell. It's a spell that is special summoning. Retaliating C, don't work. It has to be a card activation. We're going to be grabbing the Golem equip into the back row, Golem special. They have no attack restriction. As I was saying earlier, they can attack. And remember this setup into Doom, this is how much damage? 7750 plus pushing the Baguska, and we haven't even normal summoned yet. 250 damage and we have game. Yep, that's it. It's crazy. I'm playing this now. I'm playing Millennium in my decks. I guess at the cost of, can I play them with cached here? Do I have enough room for that? That is definitely something. Really does help boost up your turn 2 power, I'd say. Good job. That is the end for Earl GB. I appreciate you immensely. Thank you very much. But this is now the end. Let's hop into another match. We're gonna start this off with a bonfire, add a Poplar from our deck. Triggering that Poplar, we got double Veiler, both are usable here. They're not hard once per turn. As we grab the original Sinful, allowing that to go through. Now, when we attempt to finger the first Veiler, the second Veiler will be able to go through. Poplar equip, and now I do expect a Veiler play here. Oh, yeah, it's a Rescue Ace deck. There you go, that makes sense. Now, we have not committed to a normal summon yet, and the Hydrant is untargetable while you control another Rescue Ace. They cannot Veiler it. So, we summon the Lifter first. We do want to Veil the Lifter, otherwise we're not able to do so onto the Hydrant. We don't even attempt to finger the Veil. Okay, we're gonna use it on something else instead. We identify that we still have full combo through them Veilering our Lifter, so why waste our finger? As we now go into the Fiendsmith engine. Double Veiler, and we still have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 disruptions? Huh? How does this make sense? That's a lot of disruptions, and we got double hand trapped. Well, let's see it play out. So what was it? 6, 7, 8. Oh my goodness, mates. We're gonna summon Preventer, send Preventer, Preventer, Reborn the Hydrant. Sylvie on summon is gonna get contained. Contain the Sylvie, which now cannot attack, is negated, and cannot be used for an extra deck summon. 7 disruption left, we're just scooping. And the dude didn't even know that he had a finger the entire time. That's wild. Good job, Kid Arts. Deception, Sinful into the Hollowed Azamina. Let's check if they have a finger or Ash. They don't. We're not going to add a Maxi on top of that, as they're going straight into a Sylvia as we decide to just draw one. Bonfire, we got big plays. Sylvia searching for the woes, a good direct search for a form of disruption here. So let's talk about our forms of disrupt. We have negate anything, plus negate a monster on the field, plus non-target flip the entire opposing field face down. Triple disruption. There's a light and a dark on the field, so the Super Poly is no good, 2 dead. Bonfire, add from the deck our Poplar. Poplar triggering in hand, come forth and summon. The finger's really good on Sylvia. You definitely want to finger her as we grab an original Sinful here. Let's further link this up into Link Karibo, trigger the Poplar, equip itself into the back row. Super Poly, I have a dark, you have a dark, so my dark with your dark, let's fuse it away. All right, that's the way. We're now down to double disruption. The Moo Dragon also makes us untargetable to a card like an Infinite Impermanence. Nicely done. Let's original Sinful, send Poplar, summon for the deck a Hydrant. How do we deal with this though? Silvera is a non-target flip. While we're untargetable, we can't finger the Silvera. I think we're gonna kind of get checkmated here. Maxi hopefully drawing into something good. Now Maxi against this is great because it's a draw 2. Let's go. Woes into draw 1. Synchro into draw 2. Flip my entire field face down. Non-target flippage, where otherwise the Moo Dragon was protecting us from the impermanence. All right, they have a Wanted Seeker for next turn now. They still have 1 imperm. We have Emergency. Summon from the deck the Turbulence. Get out of here the Hydrant. Activate the Turbulence into the impermanence. Imperm, negate the triple disruption mate. Very well done from Zeus on these disruptions here. I think we should have tried to bait with Diablo Star first, right? Alrighty, big enough to take out the Silvera, as we're now going to be ending on our only form of disruption being Super Poly. That's it. Could discard the Call by the Grave to get Fusion. 2 monsters of the same attribute. Wanted Seeker into a Diablo Star. We're going to Deception Sinful, return back Silvera to get ready to use that Hollowed Azamina to possibly set up a negate. Now the negate will not work against the Wanted Seeker, obviously. Chain the Wanted Seeker to grab a Diablo Star to get that Wanted Seeker engraved through the Hollowed Azamina. And now we have Ursala going into our deck, searching for an Azamina or Sinful Spoil card. the sinful spoils of the White Forest. We have Baron de Fleur, ready to destroy a card in the field, taking out that Super Poly preemptively. Thus, we now have no forms of disruption. Now, the Super Poly being destroyed would trigger the Turbulence. Turbulence should have activated to destroy a card, but then it would be negated and destroyed by the Baron de Fleur, so we did not want that to happen. We're afraid to get lethal damaged here. We're just going to keep it on the field instead of playing into the negate. We have the Sylvie searching our deck for Tales of the White Forest as we now synchro into a Rissala. Rissala without the go. We're going to be discarding the Tails, searching for an effect failure to be used on the next turn. Will there even be a next turn? As the Tails recycles itself into the back row after being sent to the grave to activate a monster effect as it then searches for an LZ. We're going to Diablo Star, set up into the back row a Deception Sinful Spoils, a second copy, only while face up. If then sent to the graveyard, does it recycle itself during the end phase? It's now time to go into Fiendsmith. Kid Art has not surrendered yet. As we go into Requiem. Requiem off of the moon as we go into the engraver, equip the Requiem onto the engraver, taking out the Turbulence. Further, wow, we turned Baron de Fleur into Sequence. That's wild. Sequence will be fusing with the graveyard, 2 bodies to summon our Lacrima. Target engraver, reborn the engraver, going into Beatrice. Are we halfway through your turn? What's going on? Send an Esteller, make an elf, reborn the Esteller, reborn from the graveyard our engraver, equip it with a Sequence, send Sequence with a Stellar to summon from the deck a Sylvie, go into Chaos Angel, on summon, banish away the Diablo Star. To battle we go. We do not have lethal damage here. If you want to check the, never mind, I was going to check the Chaos Angel if it had protection from monster effects. We have Little Knight on summon, banishing away the opposing player's Seeker, Sinful Spoil. How many forms of disruption did we end on? We have the Little Knight to chain banish a monster. We can go into a Guardian Chimera to pop multiple cards in the field. We have Veiler to negate a monster, and from engrave we have no other form of disruption, even if we decide to reborn with our Sprite Elf. So triple. Say goodbye to the Calm by the Grave to come forth and summon our Diablo Star. To battle we go. We're not going to be activating the Sinful of the White Forest. Triple Tactics talent within main phase 2, going for the draw 2 play. We're at double disruption here. Fiendsmith tracked, add from the deck a Lurie, discard to then reborn that Lurie onto the field here. We are now going to be triggering, not triggering, but activating Sylvie to reborn itself from the field to then set up for our Sinful Spoil of the White Forest, which will activate to wipe out 2 bodies on the field plus draw 1. If you don't have a chain link block to this, it is susceptible to Ash Blossom, which we could have ashed this potentially if the Droll were an Ash instead. It not being an Ash, thus we lose out on our entire field. 1-1. Engrave it up, searching for our Fiendsmith tracked. Lower this real quick. Track's going to be adding engraver, discarding our Lurie. Let's speed this up. So with this, we can negate a monster, destroy a monster, flip a monster face down, banish a monster. We could then negate a monster 3 more times. We are at 7 forms of disruption versus 5 cards in their hands. Zeus, can you break this field? 7 disrupts. We're going to be activating Max C to hopefully give us some more outs to nothing as the Apollo negates. Now we're down to 6 disruption. It's slightly more fair. Onto the field, Preventer, Send Preventer, Trigger Preventer, Reborn a Banished Monster Hydrant, which will make our disruptions even more deadly. We have the Cashier Field spell, grabbing a Unicorn. Unicorn is here. Before the Unicorn activates, let's extinguish it, wipe it out of here, send the field spell for our Diablo Star. We're at 5 forms of disruption. Diablo Star is not chain link blocked by a card like, let's say, Poplar. If you were to send that from the hand or field to the grave, it could then chain link block a negate like Apollo. We're at 4 disruption. We're going to rescue Preventer, flip you face down. We'd then be at 3 more disruption. And that's enough to win it all. Zeus surrendering. Zeus, thank you for joining the event with White Force and doing incredibly well with it. But it is time for Rescue Ace Fiendsmith to advance to the top 8. Let's go. Begin. Start off with our normal summon Lurie, as I suspected we'd obviously be doing. That does take up our normal summon though. Requiem, summon from the deck Engraver. Now you have to think, how do we get Engraver Engrave? Requiem is going to equip onto Engraver, then end. Yeah. This is what happens when you don't have Lacrima Crimson Tears, where the one card Lurie would have instead been a full combo, as the Lacrima Crimson Tear sends Engraver from the deck to the grave, which solves the problem of how do you get Engraver Engrave? Let's see what's good. Right for Patchwork, Ash Blossom, negate. We have Ogre, we have Veiler. I'm hesitant to declare Serenir as a form of disruption here, so we're gonna hold it for now. Gazelle gets negated, negate. Or not, we chain Super Poly to dodge the effect Veiler. And this one little finger left is a Ghost Ogre. Will Ghost Ogre be good enough? Probably not. We have Baphomet on summon, which could send a monster from the deck to the grave. We have the Gazelle triggering to search our deck for any illusion monster we'd like. That illusion monster will be the Nightmare Apprentice, which will again search for any illusion monster we want. We have the Evil Hero, Sinister, activating to summon from the deck our Adusted Gold, as we now go into the Fiendsmith sequence. We're going to use the Engraver to banish it away with the Serenir, so in fact it was a pretty decent form of disruption here. So we're still at the one disruption left of the Ghost Ogre. As we discard a card to summon our Nightmare Apprentice, searching our deck for Codal. We have already committed to our normal summon. The Codal will be discarded to search our deck for another copy of Gazelle. I'm moving my footrest real quick. We are going to now Chimera fuse it up into Magnum Reliever. We're going to use the effect of Chimera Fusion to recycle itself from Engrave back to our hand. We're going to use the Magnum Reliever to draw a card, and for that, the Ogre will destroy you. With 0 disrupts left, instead of being destroyed, we're going to chain Chimera Fusion, fusing away with the Magnum Reliever, and in hand our Sword Knight to summon our Moa Regina. Moa Regina is here. We can target an illusion monster in the graveyard and then special summon it, setting our field to 6,900 damage as the Sword Knight then summons to the deck the Baphomet, which is a double search. Searching for a Chimera Fusion plus a Gazelle. Let's Chimera Fuse again into Chimera King. It's a lot of special summoning. Holy moly. Chimera King activating to discard a card from the opponent's hand during the end phase, which there is none. Baphomet triggering to reborn a Codal in grave. 7,600 damage on the field. We're not done. Sinful Spoil of the White Forest, going for a huge fusion summon into the Chimera Illusion Beast. Attack 1, you do not get destroyed, but I reduce you to 0. Attack again, 3,100. Attack again, 3,100. And attack again for game. Can't summon your monster in attack position against Chimera. They will set you to 0. They'll keep you on the field. They'll keep on swinging until you are dead. Right for Patchwork, grabbing a Polymerization into another Edge Imp Chain also. Ooh, pass. Book of Eclipse is great in a fusion deck. It allows you to non-target flip the opponent's field face down, but in addition, it gives you hand trap resilience, which is one of the many pillars of great deck building, as you could dodge an Imperm or Veiler, and because your monster is face down and you don't care about Link summoning, which does not work with a face down, nor Xyz summoning or Synchro summoning, you fusion summon, which works with face down monsters. Thus, in any fusion monster deck, you're going to want to play this card, especially a deck like Ritual Beast. But still, it didn't save us. We didn't set another one, even though more than one is activatable in a turn. Let's see what's good here. We have Super Poly plus a full field flip. We're going to summon Engraver from the deck. Would there be any plans for tournaments in Classic Yu-Gi-Oh? Of course there would be. Yup. It'd be massive for the game. I would be running events for it. Yep. I'd go all in. We would do everything for it that we could. Discard the Book of Eclipse. Fuse away the field into a Garura. Now, the Regained will trigger, as the Druisworm will also trigger to send the Garura to grave. The Bestial Serenir will also send, likely, a Lubellion. Oh, no, not a Lubellion, sending a Baldrake instead. Interesting. Regain is going to be reborning the Druisworm. Do we not play Lubellion? I feel like that, I mean, I guess we already have Regain, unless we're not playing the branded trap that pops cards in the field. I guess it would not be as good to grab the Lubellion. Let's get swinging here. Did not force us to use the Eclipse. The Eclipse has the heavy downside of, whoa, M7 recycling one of our Bystials. The downside is on the end phase, they get to draw a card per monster that gets flipped face up, thus drawing into another hand trap. Now, Retaliating Sea, I suspect, would be quite good against Chimera. You have many spell cards that would result in the Retaliating Sea being special summoned, which then further would be the floodgate of every card being sent to the grave is banished instead. With all the Chimeras that like activating and working with the graveyard, that's just going to hard counter the deck. Another deck that a lot of people don't think about, the Retaliating Sea hard counters, and I do remember people playing it back when this deck was relevant, and that deck is purely Bright Fur, Patchwork, Ash Blossom, negate. Negate the Patchwork mate. We're going to be setting the Sinful Spoil White Force here, which doesn't work. You have to control a Fiend, Illusion, or Spellcaster to then activate, thus, let's not even read it. We do have Droll and Lockbird, though. Steam the Cloak is insane. If you don't know how it works, it takes up your normal summon. It could go into a Phoenix, into a Little Knight, or it could go into full Fiendsmith combo. We're going to tribute off the token, and then we're going to further link this up into Moon of the Closed Heaven. And guess what? We summon a token again. Double token. What the? Let's go into Requiem. Requiem is going to be jumping off the field into our Engraver. Engraver with the token can now go into the sequence. Thus, you see how this is a one-card full Fiendsmith play. As we go into Fiendsmith Lacrima. Lacrima is going to target the Engraver, reborn itself onto the field here. With Druid Swarm, it's lethal damage. That's it. That's enough for game. 7,900 damage is game, thanks to Lacrima's burn effect in main phase 2. After willing them down to 100 life, just like that, Phoenix for game. Burn them. And we do try to chain link block, even though, I mean, what are they going to do to negate this? There's ain't no way. Pop it, lethal damage. This is a Fiendsmith hand trap deck. I do have a version of this deck I've been playing and enjoying. You play about 30 hand traps for a super interactive duel, and you pretty much just focus on the Fiendsmith engine alongside a plethora of endless hand traps to stop your opponent. Now, there are options to play Phantasme in this deck. It does rely that hopefully the opponent is link summoning, and that is also another option to help draw into your other hand traps. And ideally, how you should visualize this deck is that it should always pretty much have Branded Regained up, drawing a card every single turn, as you are just continually one-for-oneing all their plays as you keep on also drawing in addition to doing that until they run out of gas, and then you finish them off with Fiendsmith. Thank you, YouTube, for watching the entirety of the top 16. We'll be advancing to the top 8 grand finale and top decklist in the very next video. We're going to be starting this off with Tenpai. Can Tenpai be defeated? Are you at the point where you're rooting for Tenpai, or do you still hate that deck? We'll find out in the next one. Let's go.